Someone once said, I've never had bullets fly by my head, but I've experienced freedom because of men who did. Forever thankful to every veteran's sacrifice. This is Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Finally, a podcast 100% about veterans. Looking at veterans making a difference in the veterans community. We'll help veterans and we'll spotlight veteran-owned businesses and businesses that support and hire veterans. Plus, guzzle down some amazing coffee. Welcome to Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Now your host, Tree McLean.
Good morning or good afternoon for some people. Hello, Janice. How you doing today? How's your week going?
Hey, busy as always. How was yours?
Oh, it's busy as always. You got appointments today. I got to go as soon as I get done with this. But this weekend, we're heading out to Lone Star Warriors Outpost again Sunday. I'll be bringing out cold brew coffee, and we're going to bring out your brother's new coffee, and we're going to do a live podcast from the softball fields.
I'm more excited for the coffee.
Yeah, and I got you something. Yeah, I did. You told me about how you have this greasy complexion.
Yeah.
So I got these special covers that go on the headphones, so you don't have to worry about, getting them all messy with your greasy complexion.
Thank you. And my sunscreen too.
Well, hey, let's bring on our guest here today. This is Robin Phoenix Johnson, retired Lieutenant Colonel of the Army. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi.
I haven't said that in a long time.
You don't have to say that. Robin's good.
So I like your mic. I need to get one of those too.
Thank you. It's a Rode Procaster. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I would just have it just in case, just to be like, do all the music videos when you're hovering the mic like that.
Yeah, I do. So this is actually a real backdrop. It's not virtual. So I do a lot of virtual comedy for different events. So I had to kind of level up my sound and backdrop game.
I need to do the same in here. I'm working on putting together a mobile studio.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so I can go around to events and so forth like that. More so than having one stationary somewhere. So yeah. So I tell you what, I've been promoting you all week. I've been excited about having you on because I live with a lot of pain and a lot of nerve pain, and I don't laugh much. But I have been laughing at your YouTube videos so much, and I'm like, I can't wait to have this woman on. She is funny. Yeah.
He was definitely hyping you up when he called me. When he said, he's like, we're going to have her. She's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I'm thinking in my head, I was like, okay, usually they'll be like, tell us a joke. And I'm like, that's not how it works. You just talk and tell stories. And I thought, I bought this expensive microphone, which is funny, is everyone's like, oh, I love your microphone. I'm like, but it still doesn't keep the kids from knocking on the door or the dogs from barking or the next door neighbor from cranking up their lawnmower. So it's like, okay, it's only a tool. And you mentioned you're in pain. And I was like, okay, well, so I'm 90% disability for the VA, and I'm in pain. I have a lot of issues with my neck. So they send me Motrin, right? Like Ranger candy. And my husband, 100% disabled, and they sent him a vibrator. And I saw it in the mail, and I was like, oh, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on,
What are you telling them?
Yeah. And he said, no, babe, the VA sent it to me. And I said, dang. I said, so that's what you get when you're 100% disabled. You get the good stuff. So
we've been dipped at 90%.
I know. I'm like, I want a vibrator too. I mean, for my neck, what I'm saying.
Mind your business.
Hey,
Tree's like, quick, oh my gosh.
Real quick, I sent you something this week, and I don't know, the mail's so wonderful. We're wonderful United States mail. I got it back saying incorrect address on it. So I resent it out to you, but I'm going to show you the label on it. I changed up the label a little bit, so I'm going to bring up the picture right here. How you like that?
Oh my gosh. I love this. I don't even I'm going to drink it, but I don't want to drink it because it's bourbon pecan pecan. I don't know. I'm in South Carolina, so.
Yeah, so pecan. I'm actually drinking some bourbon pecan right now myself.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that. I'll do some videos with it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I
It's
might
just,
spice it up with some bourbon though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah. I created some military blends and some VFW sell them and so forth, like the E4 Mafia Crazy Coconut,
Ooh.
and then I've
That
got
sounds good.
an apple a day keeps the doctor away, hopefully, because who really wants to go to the VA?
I
Oh
like
my
that.
And then 100% rating bourbon coffee with the VA disability calculator on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then the GD214 alumni. And then last but not least, the Butter Bar Breakfast Blend.
I like it.
I love it. Clever. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So those are all blends I created that were blends I already had, and I just renamed them for different stuff like that. You know, I do private labeling and for different BFW posts and businesses and such. You know,
I
so
really want to try that $1 million blend you were talking about.
oh yeah. That's a blend named after, and which reminds me is my sister was a matriarch of our family, and I lost her to cancer back in 2019, and she was a very funny person, and you resemble her, you do, and
Well, thank you.
yeah, she was a very pretty woman and everything, and I showed my mother she's bedridden and so forth, so she liked seeing that, and I was telling another sister, and my sister that never listens to podcasts, she goes, "Oh, I have to listen to it," you know. But
Wow.
she was always a funny woman, you know. But I have a blend of coffee called Donna's Delight named after her, and it's pecan,
Oh,
caramel, vanilla, and chocolate, which is the
nice
flavoring
combination.
used to make a millionaire candy that she used to make us for Christmas every year.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'll
I
get you
hope,
some of that.
yeah, I hope that I honor her legacy in a good way. Maybe I should not tell more vibrator jokes.
No. She's laughing. She's up above laughing her butt off right now. That's the way she was. I mean, when I was a little kid, I was in the hospital a lot, and she'd bring me glasses with no lenses. And so the nurses would walk in, I'd be scratching my eye through the, you know, with no lens, or she'd bring me a rubber hand and she'd lay it underneath the sheet. So the nurses would come in and check my pulse and pick up this rubber hand, you know, and out, you know, that's the way she was, you know, she's
Oh, she sounds fantastic.
yeah, I know,
My kind of people.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I loved her so much. She's so funny. But hey, I got a new funny friend here that I am really enjoying listening to. So I saw you got some dates coming up we're going to.
Yeah.
And but you mainly do like military posts, VFWs, American Legion posts, or you just do anywhere? Or?
I do everything. I'm actually doing less of that right now. I miss it. I just did a pop-up show at my VFW post 3137 last week last week. But I'm doing a lot more corporate events and a lot more conferences, conventions, and then clubs. I was just at Caroline's on Broadway last Thursday, and then next week I'm in Atlanta, and then I'm going to be at the Louisville Comedy Club on October 6th, and Oklahoma City in November. So at the Bricktown Comedy Club. So yeah, kind of just a mixture of clubs, corporate events, and then VFWs and American Legions.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations on a full schedule.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a lot of work. Like people think when you're a comedian, they think you just have to be funny. You just get up there, you take the microphone, and you're funny. It is not that way. The
Mhm.
logistics, the planning, the marketing, trying to even get someone to give you stage time or to book you is
Mhm.
a whole job in and of itself. So it's been about 2.5, 3 years of work to get to the point where I'm finally, but
Yeah.
my schedule's pretty busy, like pretty packed, where I'm just at enough where it's good, but not too much where I don't see my kids because my kids are still 9 and 12. So I'm not trying to be on the road, 28 days out of the month.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
retire from the army for that. Like I actually retired so I could spend more time with them.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's
Were you
awesome.
doing funny stuff while you were still in, or is this something that was completely after you got out?
So I actually got in trouble a little bit my last couple years in. I made a comment to somebody that they were all offended about, and I actually got a letter of reprimand. And it was a funny comment. It wasn't anything terrible, but it just, there's such sensitivity now. You have to be very on the up and up. You really can't say anything. Like you got to kind of walk on eggshells. And I really felt my true personality coming out, and that's when I knew it was time for me to resign and retire. I said, I really want to be able to express myself freely and not And it just felt right. Plus my family, I mean, my kids were, we're just getting a lot of separation from them. And I said, it's time. And it was a good segue for me, but I always had, like a funny, sarcastic, kind of witty personality, but I did suppress it a lot. Just so I would stay out of trouble. Yeah, my mouth would get me in the most trouble when I was growing up. My mom will tell you, like, she was always like, I am gonna wash your mouth out with soap. But it wasn't cuss words. I was just like quick to say something smart back. And well, I thought it was smart, but it was actually really stupid because I spent most of my high school years grounded for things that came out of my mouth.
But they don't know what to do with it. Like, instead of like feeding it or doing like kind of guiding it somewhere else, they've just been like, you know what? We're not gonna do this. Just go to your room. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, my mom actually put me in oratorical contests. She said, "Oh, you wanna have a mouth on you? You wanna just say whatever you want to say? I'm gonna start making you compete in competitions using your mouth." And she did. She made me, and I hated it. But it was either that or be grounded. Like she would let me trade, or if I did the oratorical contest, I would only have so many days of punishment, and then if I won, it'd be even less. So I would like get out of my punishment by winning. So then I became really competitive with it. And I was like, look, I'm not trying to be grounded. I'm not trying to miss prom. Like I'm going to go and do this speech and I'm going to win. So yeah, and they were like God-like and country speeches, like, patriotic things usually, because she wanted me to be well. Well, she never graduated high school. My mom had me she turned 17 a month before I was born, and she never graduated high school. And so she always was very big on me being educated, being articulate. She wanted me to have a business acumen and to be able to present.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But isn't that the thing with most people? Go ahead.
What was that?
I said, did your father serve?
Nope. My father did not serve. My stepdad didn't serve. My mom didn't serve. My grandfather, my two grandfathers, and my grandmother actually also served in the WAC. And she actually probably inspired me more than my grandfathers, just because I always thought my grandma was like a baddie. I was like, I mean, nobody messed with grandma. She could do everything, and I idolized her. So, but we didn't talk about it much. I honestly joined because my parents really couldn't afford college, and they wanted me to go to college. But there was something about there was an appeal. You remember the commercials, like be all that you can be, and there's like people jumping out of airplanes and cool stuff. And that's what I thought it was going to be like. So I was like, that sounds fun.
Well, I mean, being a part of something more than just you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was a win too. I mean, I actually convinced them to sign off on it at 17 just because of the college. But for me personally, I was like, I want to do something different. I want to push myself, and I want to do something that's tough.
Yeah. What'd you do in the Army?
I started off. I want to do something tough. I started off as a supply specialist, because that's
Look,
I took what the bonus was. They were like, if you do this job, you get a bonus, right? And I wanted a car, so I mean, I wish it was something more patriotic than that, but So I was a 92 Yankee in the National Guard, and I wanted to go active duty, but my mom wouldn't sign the waiver because I was 17 for active duty, because she said, no, you're going to college. You go to college, and then if you want to go back in the Army, you can. So that's what I did. And while I was in college, I did ROTC so that I could come back in as an officer. So that was a nice transition, at least for pay anyway.
So you say logistics your whole career?
I did. I was a logistics officer as well. Quartermaster was my basic branch. And then, of course, they combined it all to be logistics later. Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's what my dad did. Yeah. He did logistics. And then coincidentally, so did my husband.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And she's got two brothers.
Yes.
And
but one of them was infantry. The other one was, I'm sorry, Jeff. He was on
not infantry. That's usually what they say.
Yeah, not infantry.
Infantry and not infantry. That's really all the armies.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's cool.
Unless you're a pilot.
Yeah.
You know what? I was telling him that I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a warrant officer.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a pilot, but they told me I was too short.
How tall
So-
are you?
I'm like 5'1.5", 5'2".
I'm only 5'3", so we're right there. We're right
Yeah,
there.
see, exactly. So then when I decided just to go airborne, when we jump out, I'd be one of the last ones to land.
I know.
We just hung out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That's too
hilarious.
funny.
You are funny.
So what'd your husband do?
He's he's retired now. He was an Apache pilot.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was Army aviation myself.
I said that he's a West Pointer. I said I'm never marrying a West Pointer. Ugh. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, he roots for the Army football team, so he's probably a good guy to marry because he's already used to disappointment. So then it worked out. We will celebrate 20 years this year. So it's been
Ooh, congratulations. That's work.
You know what? It is. And people are always like, what does it mean, like work? Like in 20 years, how do you do it? I said, well, I'll tell you how not to do it. I said, I wanted to keep it spicy. Like, you got to do things. So I took a pole fitness class and I bought a stripper pole for our house. I was like, hey, babe, just put this in. He installed it horizontally.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
that's being married. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm trying to keep it spicy here. Like, I don't think you're getting the concept. He's like, I get the concept. You did nothing with the Peloton. I'm just giving you the extra closet space you've been complaining about for 6 months. So,
I'm sitting here listening to this going, where have I heard this before? I said, well, duh, you're good.
Yeah, I love that joke. It's a true, but my jokes and stuff are all true stories.
That's
like this
good.
is the thing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a cardinal sin in comedy, still other people's jokes, but it's but when you pull from your own life and you just tell it like it is, it's funnier.
I think it's more funny because it's relatable, like because you're not lying, right?
Yeah, if I move this backdrop, you would literally see that pole with all my clothes hanging on it. I'm actually in my closet. I'm not kidding.
That's the only place you get the most privacy. Nobody gonna check there. That's probably the last place they'll check, right?
Yeah.
And then it's soundproof because all your clothes are in there.
It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit. It's supposed to be a bedroom. It's supposed to be a bedroom, but we converted it into my studio office / closet because we live in a house that's old and it has really tiny, like the old closets, like. So that wasn't gonna work for me.
Oh, sorry, honey. That's a big closet. It's a room.
Yeah, I should move. I'll move. Maybe if we have time, I'll move it and show you.
I always look
you're like the address I sent the coffee to is like 3 blocks from the beach.
1 block, actually.
Really?
Beachfront.
Yeah, it takes me 3 minutes to walk from my front door to the beach.
That's lovely.
It is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the map and the satellite views, and I noticed that island.
Stalker.
No.
I said stalker.
I want to know where my coffee's going.
Well, we don't want too much out here because there'd be some weirdos watching this.
I have family from South Carolina, and I just wanted to see where your town was compared to theirs and so forth. They're Aiken, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I saw that island that's across that canal from you. There's like an island. There's no bridge leading to it. I guess you only get there by boat.
Goat Island.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Goat?
Yeah, we actually have. My father-in-law has a lot over there. Goat, like the animal.
Like there's goats.
Don't ask. I don't know.
Like wild goats,
I don't go over there because the one time I did go over there was a huge snake, and there's just wildlife over there that I'm not really fond of. And I did my time in the Army. Like I'm not trying to bond with nature anymore. Like you'll find me at the mall. Like
I did my time. That's why people are like, let's go camping. Like, you know what?
No.
I'm good.
No. And hiking. They have all these veteran retreats now. They're like, let's go out in the wilderness and let's go hiking. Why? I road marched in the 101st more than I ever want to. Like, no, thank you.
We used to go camping on the river here in Texas and go tubing. And we'd set up our tents and I'd be digging trenches around my tent. And people are like, what are you doing? I said, in case it rains. I said, it doesn't rain here in the hill country. But I did. I drew my little trench.
That's funny. Tubing sounds fun. Camping, not so much.
It was a lot of fun.
It is, but then once you get to the end and you have to walk back from where you came or catch a bus, like that's not fun. The way my plantar fasciitis are, we can't. we ain't gonna make it.
You know, earlier you were talking about your grandmother being a badass. Here, I want to show you a picture real quick. How you like that?
Oh, I love that.
That's my mom.
That is fantastic.
You know, the
That's
way
my
she's
mom.
holding it, she says, "Say hello to my little friend."
Yeah.
We sent that picture
Are
to all
you
my
talking
nieces.
to me? Are you talking to
they're,
me?
They're like, she can tell all her friends that, hey, this is my grandmother. She's more badass than yours. But yeah, she was retired from the Department of Justice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
My grandma used to lean out the living room door and with a shotgun and shoot groundhogs that were in her yard. Like she would just, we'd be talking, she'd be doing some sort of quilting or whatever, and she just set it down, calmly get up, grab it. It's like she didn't even see out the window. She just knew it was out there. Go. and then she put it back and go. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's a new definition to squirrel.
For dinner, though.
Yeah, squirrel. Yeah.
My grandma wasn't in the military or wasn't in Justice of the Peace or shoot guns or nothing, but she was a luchador.
A what?
A luchador, like a Mexican wrestler, so she'd have the mask.
Oh.
Your grandmother was?
My grandma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go, grandma. You a baddie. You a baddie.
Now we know why everybody wants to throw hands in the family.
Shoot.
We're actually going to have a podcast called All in the Family Gonzalez Style.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all her brothers and dad, all that served and everything.
You should. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. You should do it for that.
Yeah. Well, if I can get my co-host to get going,
Come on, co-host. I did a reel today about being Puerto Rican because I'm half Puerto Rican, and nobody ever thinks I'm Puerto Rican because they're like, you have blue eyes, you don't speak Spanish, and you don't wear a Puerto Rican flag necklace. So,
Are you really Puerto Rican flag in your car or anything?
Maybe if I did, I would somehow get like the verified check mark. Like, she's verified. She has the flag.
I've got another co-host named Ricky Cruz. And when he married his wife, that's Hispanic, his father-in-law started speaking Spanish to him, and he was going, see, and he got done talking. He goes, you don't understand a word I said, did you? And he goes, no. But he was born in Germany because his dad was stationed in Germany, just like her dad was too, Yeah, you have a brother that was born in Germany too, don't you?
My brother was born in Germany.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of coconuts, brown on the outside.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So where are you headed to next, Robin?
Atlanta. I'm doing a private event in Atlanta at the Punch Bowl Social next week for Comcast, NBC Universal. And then after that is Louisville, Kentucky, October 6th.
Cool.
And
do you make a lot of jokes about being in the military, or do you more make jokes about your life, like transition, like anything like that?
I read the crowd. So I have sets of jokes for both. But I feel out the crowd. If it's not a heavy veteran or military crowd, I go lighter on that stuff because they're not going to get it or enjoy it as much. Yeah. Last week, I did Caroline's on Broadway with the Armed Services Arts Partnership. We did a combat to comedy show. And so I focused heavily on the veteran stuff because it was a veteran fundraiser, like an event. And they got it, when you're talking about combat parking or your analysis test and how awkward that is, they get it. But if you're talking to a civilian audience, I try to focus more on things that are neutral, like my kids, my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
unit? And that also takes work too.
Yeah.
What unit was your husband in?
Well, several, because we both did over 20 years, so we have like a whole list. But his he commanded the 217 Cav.
Okay, all right.
In the S of the 101st,
yeah. Great. So, and what unit? We got to ask you too. What's the unit you were in?
Well, my last assignment was in the Army G1 and the Soldier for Life Directorate. So I worked for like the Soldier for Life employment stuff. So I worked military spouse and service member transition. But before that, I commanded the 526 Brigade Support Battalion in the 101st.
Oh, cool.
So last two. Yeah, it was a nice culmination to a 26-year career.
Yeah. 101st is in Kentucky.
Uh-huh. Yes,
yeah. My dad's going to go to a reunion out there here soon.
Yep. I don't ever want to go back.
No, thank you.
I mean, I love Nashville. My husband and I met at Fort Campbell. We got married at the courthouse right outside the post. So it is sentimental. We spent two of our assignments at Fort Campbell. So, and we, our battalion command was there. So, I mean, we have some sentimental ties to it, but
Yeah.
other than
In
that,
general,
like I could go for a day, 2 days. Beyond that, I've been there, done that. Like next.
yeah. Jeff was actually born when we lived there. So for the longest time, he would say he was born. We would all say he was born in Kentucky, Tennessee, because we lived on
Yeah.
one side and the hospital was on the other.
Yes, that's true.
Where were you born? Kentucky, Tennessee. That's 2 states. Well, that's where I'm from.
That's like my daughter. She was born in Kansas City, Missouri, but we lived in Kansas City, Kansas.
Where you when you say Kansas, where are you from?
I'm from Ohio originally. Well, actually, that's not
Kansas.
true. That's not true. I was born in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale, but I grew up my whole life. I mean, from the time I was 1 until I was 17 in Ohio.
And then
We're
you
in
know
Ohio.
what? I don't blame you for joining the army and getting out of Ohio.
I know, right? I mean, God bless Ohio. I love my Buckeyes. I can't take away where I'm from. I mean, that's where my parents were, obviously. But yeah, I'm glad to be in South Carolina now, a block from the beach.
I had a sister that lived in Ohio, and she lived in North Royalton, and it was a beautiful town right outside of Cleveland.
Okay, that's way another side. I'm on West Central, like close to the Indiana side, like, and where I live is beautiful, and the people are nice. It's farm country. It's, there's nothing bad about it. I'd rather be close to the beach.
I probably visited Ohio once, right? Once, and driving.
That's more than you need to.
Girl, I've never seen so many signs for cabbage and noodles in my life.
Yeah. You know what is actually in Ohio that is amazing? It's the National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Columbus, Ohio. It's fairly new. It's only a couple years old. It's like the National Veterans Museum. Y'all should go to that. Is definitely worth a visit.
I've been to the one in Louisiana. That one's nice.
Yeah, the one in New Orleans.
The World War II one?
Oh,
yeah, New Orleans has a real nice one. Yeah, really.
Well, they've expanded it. They've expanded it, so they cover all sorts of wars, like enough to bring any veteran like tears in their eyes, or you'll you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a good one.
We have a veteran.
I'm gonna have to go to New Orleans. I mean, twist my arm.
We have a Navy veteran here in Houston that does a lot for the community, and he has every year he does a World War II veterans trip to New Orleans. And they stay for the weekend in New Orleans. Hector Guerin takes them, and they get a bus donated. They bus them all the way to New Orleans, and they stay the weekend. They go to that museum in New Orleans, and they said it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Tree, hook me up. I'll do a comedy show for them. I mean, hook me up.
Okay.
I'm actually going to talk to you about that too. Maybe let's see what's going to get you down here. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to. I travel all over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up with a haircut. We'll make a whole thing of it.
Yeah,
okay. I need it. I need a trim. I was looking at it earlier. I was like, oh, this is looking bad. It's a little frizzy.
Don't worry, she won't give you a military cut like she's got,
I got you. Well, you know what? It's an optical illusion.
I like it.
Thank you. I was going for more of a rocker thing, right?
Yeah. You pull it off well. Very well.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wear my hair long, but for a long time in the military, it was very short, like G.I. Jane short.
Yeah, and I'm opposite. Yeah. My hair was like long? Down to here. Yeah, it was like down to here. Then after I had a kid, I was like, you know what? Something's got to go. And
see,
after that, I just don't want to grow it back.
Let's see how long it was here. I don't see any long hair there.
Oh no, because it was in a bun.
No. Okay,
oh yeah. We have to pull our. Well, we used to. Now they can wear ponytails.
See, but you know what? I still think that the donut bun is the most effective, because when you're full battle rattle and it's time to take a nap or rest, the bun is placed perfectly under your ACH as a small pillow.
It is so true.
When I was
in Afghanistan, it was big enough, like, so my shoulders were high enough that I'd be able to nuzzle myself right here and take a small nap without anybody seeing me nod. So I just
Yep.
They just see the back of my helmet. on my vest.
So this kid goes and takes a selfie, but guess where she takes a selfie at? Landing over Normandy.
Yes, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Isn't that?
Yeah, we didn't have like phones with cameras. When I went through airborne school, it was 96. So I didn't have like a phone to take selfies, but I had one of those little disposable cameras.
Oh yeah.
And we weren't even supposed to have those up there with us, but I tucked it in my bra. So I have like a couple pictures, but not very many. And then I've got a couple good ones from Pathfinder school from when we do like the jumps out of the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
But
that's
it.
badass.
Maybe I have like 4 pictures. Like that's it.
Well,
So I think my kids don't even believe me.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like in the 90s, they were so, or I'm pretty sure they were a little bit more relaxed. Now, I wouldn't have even dreamt of putting my phone in my pocket while I was jumping. Like that had to be put away. You know, the only reason why I was able to do it in Normandy is because ain't nobody checking me. I was on a plane with Germans. Like they literally gave no Fs. Like they did one round and I was like the first person. The only thing that kept me and the ground between me and the ground was his arm. Like I was just standing right there like.
That sounds like so much fun. The stories we have.
Well, her dad jumped in the 70th anniversary.
No. He organized all the events.
Oh, he
But
organized.
then he was airborne for when he was in 101st.
Okay.
Yeah, he was airborne.
I thought he jumped on the 70th anniversary.
No, he organized all those events, and
Okay.
he like put all the things together because there are so many formations that they have, so many formations. So when he organized that and I saw it, he told me what I needed to do.
Oh, that's cool.
I understood the assignment.
I love it.
I didn't listen well, ma'am. Excuse me. Yeah.
Now I got that in my head.
What's that?
That song in my head, or the little thing where they say, "I understood the assignment." You know.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be in my head all day. Thanks a lot.
I guess you have to listen to that music. Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be somewhere.
I know. I'm trying to get my kids to do a reel with me with the one that's like just admit it, Benson. And he's like, no, you're not cool. You know, that one. But my kids won't do it. And then he comes back and he goes, how about now? Well.
I would my daughter would love to do that stuff. Even and I don't know why I didn't introduce it to before or why I forgot, but I literally just introduced her to that the cop song, Bad Boys, what you gonna she goes, yeah, exactly. I was like, this is a great lesson for kids. Don't do bad things, they're gonna come for you. You know what I mean? The teacher, you're not cool, you know what you're supposed to do.
So hey, when
scare them straight.
When you got out of the Army, did you just start the comedy right away, or did you take a break for a while, or what?
No, I started it right away. I actually started it when I was in transition leave. So I started actually in December 2019 is when I started. I didn't retire till July 1st of 2020. So I had 7 months before. But I was doing it at that time. I had zero ambitions of performing in front of big audiences or having any kind of, I wouldn't say celebrity, but I wasn't looking to be a professional comedian. I was doing it for my own mental health. Just an arts expression to have my voice out there, putting things that frustrated me or I had been coping with in a funny light. And what I realized when I did that was it was so helpful and healing to me that I thought it's got to help other people. I wish everyone knew how powerful this was. So that's when I started Best Medicine Brigade and decided that I'm going to figure out a way to get more veteran and military spouse comedians performance opportunities so their voices can be heard. Because there's still very much a civ-mil divide. And I love that you guys do this podcast because you're sharing veteran stories. But there's still a huge amount of people in America or in the world that don't understand our stories and our journey. So the art form of comedy helps bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm. I was at Costco yesterday shopping, and I had Bailey with me, my service dog, and a man comes up to me and says, "You're a veteran, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm so sick of how the government treats our veterans and on and on. You can't get health care. You can't get this. You can't get that." And I'm going, "What army are you talking about?" And he goes, "What?" I said, "Well, if you do this through the VA and you get your disability rating and get this and that and this." He goes, "Oh, never mind." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, there's help out there. You know, if you want it, people like myself and other people will help you get it, you know?
Yeah. My experience with the VA has been like 95% good. I mean, as a patient, it has been good. What it has been a little more challenging is that I'm trying to get this humor therapy program, which I call Heal Areas, implemented it into their behavioral health treatment, which is just using laughter as the best medicine. And that's been a little bit challenging because all the VAs operate kind of separately and independently. And even though whole health is like a huge initiative of theirs, it's just been hard to kind of like break through to get it recognized as a whole health wellness program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Do you
that.
think that a major this doing your comedy thing and healing through laughter and things like that, do you think that helped you with your transition? Do you think it might have made it easier?
Oh yeah, I was not in a good place. One, there was just a couple